I'm Andrew Losing and I'm out from Hughesville. I just always like shooting stuff and I plan on being a history teacher.
I'm Braden Keaton. I went to high school in Hughesville, but I actually live in Slater now. I'm here for the welding program and I lost my train of thought. And I've just been a big hunter all my life, and I met Sarah in one of my classes. She said she was a coach and I asked if I could join.
My name is Hunter Snow. I'm from Columbia. I'm currently taking the machine tool program. As my name tells, I've been a big hunter, always it and always enjoyed shooting. My FFA instructor referred me to Sarah, and I got this hire.
My name is Will Van Baxter. I'm from Marshall. I'm currently enrolled in the machine tool program, and I started shooting 4-H shooting sports back when I was 8 or 9, and I just never shot.
I'm Matthew Richardson. I started shooting with my dad and the shooting program in high school.
My name is Arthur Sims. I'm from Sedalia, Missouri. And the thing that got me interested was all my life I've been interested in joining the track shooting team in my high school. Never really had anything like that. Then I was in the CTC welding program at the time, and Sarah actually came in one day and was just discussing, talking, and said, you know, she was in it. I think she was shooting, so. Always been a big hunter my whole life. I value the team a lot, so. Oh, and my study is now pipeline, low county conservation.
So Sarah, why are you all here? What's significant is it?
Isn't that later in the meeting? It's not so we can leave.
Jump in there, so I thought we'll do, then hold that thought.
Okay.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order for the April 27th State Fair Board of Trustees meeting. Approval of the agenda, but before we do, I want you to add under number 7, institutional reports. We'll also have national esports recognition as well as retention. So just you'll add that too.
Approved as amended.
Okay, right here, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Do we have any citizens' comments?
He has no comment.
All right, and now we'll have introduction of new employees.
Josh.
Hello, I would love to introduce to you our newest faculty member for nursing. Kim Staub has joined us at our Eldon campus. She's on Zoom if everybody wants to wave to Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi. Sorry, I can't be there.
It's okay, we understand. So Kim joins us as an experienced RN. She's hit the ground running. She's been with us since the beginning of April and she's doing a great job. So we're happy to welcome her to the health science team.
Welcome.
Welcome to the team, Kim.
Thank
hope you're
you.
I hope you're not driving. No, she's
No,
not.
I'm not. I stopped.
Dr. Murders.
Yes, as part of our academic student success programs, you're probably familiar with Upper Bound, and we have Upper Bound here, obviously, but we also have Upper Bound support at the Lake of the Ozarks. And so we have a new advisor, and Anthony St. Ives. And so Anthony joins us via Zoom. So Anthony, I haven't done my due diligence, so I want you to tell us where you're coming from.
Well, hi, I'm Anthony St. Ives. Like I said, I live in Osage Beach, and I am the Upward Bound academic advisor for Lake of the Ozarks, Camden High School. Any other piece of information you want besides that?
Where did you come from before this?
Born and raised in Southern California. Left when I was 18 for school. Lived in Illinois for 6 years. Got an undergraduate degree in youth ministry and a master's degree in family ministry.
He's our youth minister.
He's a youth minister at the Lake area.
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, Anthony.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Dean Porter.
I want to introduce Trista Hutchison. Trista is our admissions admin and communications assistant in student services. Trista is finishing up like on the downhill slide to an Associate of Arts degree in business management. So she was a work study in our office first. She is an Air Force veteran, and if that alone doesn't make her tough, she's a mother of 4 boys. She was born and raised in Pennsylvania, and we love her despite being an Eagles fan. She's on her way to the junior high orchestra concert in Marshall this evening. So thank you for staying with us.
Welcome. See y'all tomorrow.
Mary.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am happy to introduce my new employee in our office. This is Irene. And I have laughed and we have giggled because this is a name that I continue to have to look at. So Kazakov. So I will probably screw it up. I told her for a year and she can allow that for a year. And after that, I've got to get my act together. Karina comes for us. She is a alumni of State Fair. I'm excited to have her in our office. She has hit the ground running. At this point, she is truly helping us get caught up. We've had a year and a half almost with a vacancy in our office. So a lot of extra work to do and I appreciate her dedication to it.
Welcome.
Right, that's the list.
All righty. Okay, so now we have approval of the minutes for the March 30th meetings. I will note that in the board report part, if you'll note that it's when I talked about ACC's proposal, I had set up talking about legislative advocacy, and it was noted that it was about Lincoln University. So just wanted to make that note as a change in our minutes. So I would entertain a motion then for the approval of the minutes for the March 30th meeting.
Motion to approve as amended.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so now Keith, how about the warrant for March?
So for the month of March 2023, the college dispersed $2,361,617 in various payments and payroll. Of that, $998,237 was accounts payable. Stopper renovation, which Westport Construction is our contractor there. They received $401,241 during the month of March. Building renovation, Respect Construction is the contractor there at $74,452. Payroll was $1,017,778. Payroll taxes were $95,831. Eventually, refunds $105,432. Usually $63,68. Credit card processing $63,61 at $17.10. Over 2,867.
Well, thank you very much. Entertain a motion. Report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, so now we're ready for those institutional reports, but appreciate the opportunity to, hear each one of the kids, where you're from and whatever, and why it interests, the interest came for State Fair Community College and shooting sports, because I'm sure that some of us know some of you, and you may not know who that is, but I know several of you because of your parents.
So I'd like to introduce Sarah Manuel, who's the shooting sports coach.
Thank you guys very much. My team is here today, and we just got back from a national tournament. And I'm a mom, so of course I got the little one too. He comes with us, so he's got to hang out with the boys quite often, but we just got back from a national tournament in Las Vegas, Nevada. We chose to do the route of the NCSSAA this year as it created a higher standard for an athlete. I want all my kids to win, but I am not a participation trophy kind of coach. And so the people that are in this room earn the right to be there. And they earn the right to show up and shoot for us. We did come home with a second place trophy in skeet in our division. So that's very exciting. So if you were on the top 5 of that team, please stand up or step forward. So all the kids get to shoot. Yeah, a round of applause for them. All the kids get to shoot in your top 5 in each discipline are made up of your top team. And so we had, out of the people that you saw, I believe only 2 had shot skeet truly shot skeet prior to being on the team. So that was a great thing in itself. I also got this in the mail today. Nash McKenzie She did earn an All-American NC in our division, so I do have that to present to him for today as well. So. I don't think I'm missing anything else. Do you guys have any questions?
Coach was also named Coach of the Year for District 5, Region 5, so that's nice.
Like I said, I just sat there and talked because did all of the work. So, I'm glad that they bought into my program and that they're all here for their education. I think I make that pretty important on my team, and so, very proud of everyone.
All right, well, thank you so much for representing State Fair Community College, second year of the program.
Second year of the program.
What wonderful results. I'm very proud of you. All right. Next, we have some recognition of some academic honors through the Phi Theta Kappa program. And to introduce that is Kim Miller.
Get Josh. Josh Wyrick is here for Tuesday. He's in the hallway.
Then, would you get Josh?
And I also need to get a mouse from Lisa because she said I can have control whenever I come up to talk. So, thanks.
Right here.
Will this work from?
It's minimalized.
Gotcha. Okay, so of course I'm an instructor, so I have to have a PowerPoint. So, Phi Theta Kappa, I wasn't sure if everybody knew what Phi Theta Kappa was. I have been surprised at how many people don't know exactly what it is. So it is the honor society for two-year community colleges. It is an international society, and we do have a chapter here. A lot of people are like, really, we haven't done a whole lot. So whenever COVID hit, it kind of fell off, and we haven't done a whole lot, but I scooped it up a couple years ago, and we have really been rolling. So we are a 4-star chapter for 2022. We haven't hit that many stars in many, many years. So we got there from our efforts of recruitment, submission of our annual report, submission of chapter goals that were very specific, making sure that we had chapter officers to fill all positions. We are also very involved in our region. We submitted Hallmark awards and we had a college project. So there's a lot of layers to Phi Theta Kappa. And I always say, all I need is one student to help me out with each category and I'm good to go. It's just a matter of making sure that I have all these students in line and ready. So they do have a professional development program for the students. It's called the EDGE program. It trains them in all sorts of different areas. So it will train them in how to do a resume, how to do a successful interview. There's a healthcare edge. So I would really like to see more. We've only ever had one student ever complete the healthcare edge, and that was Bailey Mitchell, who has been our chapter president. And she just completed the healthcare edge, and she said it was fantastic, and she wishes that she would have done it a lot sooner. But they have the employment edge, the new competitive edge, which really that one is very. It talks about cultural awareness, just all sorts of different things. And then the research edge. So for students who are interested in maybe doing a little bit of research, that gets them ready for that. And then also a transfer edge to help them navigate the transfer process. So there's a lot of different things for the students to do. All those courses are completely free and they do them on their own time. So, and we've had these 3 students, they just got recognized at induction. What night was that? Night before last, it was Tuesday night. So I recognized them for doing those. Tyler Morey, Bailey Mitchell, and Amber Perez have done our EDGE program. I'm hoping that I can have a really, really long list next year. But that moves us into the next big piece of Phi Theta Kappa, which is scholarships. So we had 2 students who got on the All Missouri academic team. That was London Stacy and Joshua Wyrick. So Josh is here tonight. He's here for a couple of different reasons. So he is here for scholarship recognition, and he's also here for esports team. So, and my son is on esports. Rainbow Six Siege, and so I'm esports mom. I had to wear this tonight. I'm like, normally whenever I do an instructional report, I'd be in heels and a skirt or something, but I'm like, nope, it's Jersey Day today, so. But yeah, so we are super proud of Josh, and we were already proud of Josh. And then he also got a New Century Award. So he is a New Century Scholar, which means, in a nutshell, out of 2,400 applicants across the country, he was one of 50 who got the New Century transfer. And I said transfer, but he's the workforce student. So he got the New Century. So New Century has 2 from each state. They do a transfer and they do a workforce. And Josh was the workforce pathway. And I am super proud. And I will tell you, I think it is fantastic that here at State Fair Community College, and I think Dr. Bates told me that this was the first time that we've had a student get recognized as a New Century Scholar. And here we put up our new Olin Howard building, and OTC, State Tech, none of those places got the workforce pathway recipient. We did. So way to go, Josh. I am so super proud of you.
Would you like to say
A little bit
anything?
about yourself. Yeah, tell them about yourself.
So obviously, my name is Joshua Wired. I'm a prior Air Force veteran. I'm going to school for multiple different things. I'm about to finish one of my certificates, and I've already finished 2 of my other. So I'm going to school for my robotics and automation certification, along with my total productive maintenance and my millwright technician certification.
And where are you from?
I am from Cole Camp, Missouri. I currently live here in Sedalia with my wife.
And further, the national award will be given at the ACCT conference in Las Vegas. Some of you will be in attendance. And Josh, I believe, is the first student from State Fair Community College to be honored at ACCT in the history of the college.
I'm really proud. And, whenever I took over Phi Theta Kappa Advisor, one of my major missions was to basically get out there on campus, get to meet our students, get to know who they are. I used to teach 150 kids every single semester whenever I was teaching a full load of mathematics, and my classes were full of 30. Now, as a division chair, I teach just 1 or 2 classes, and it's Calc 2 or 3, and I have maybe a dozen kids. So I don't get to meet the students much. And so the last couple of years, I've really made a point to get out there and get to know them. And whenever I got to know a little bit about Josh, I was like, you are PTK eligible, you need to join, and then you're going to apply for this scholarship. So we have exceptional talent, just like Josh, on this campus. And I am passionate about making it my job as the PTK advisor to make sure that they shine. So I'm so super proud. You're fantastic. So, all right. And then I will tell you that a couple of other things here. I can get this working. So Phi Theta Kappa, we've had a lot of community service. We are a stream team member. We have adopted a highway. If you go out north of town, yeah, they spelled the name wrong. It's PIC instead of PTK, but that's okay. But we have a stretch of highway on North 65. It's about 2 miles long. So we adopted a highway. We have volunteered at the Bothwell Foundation Love Dub. We have volunteered at the Color Run for CASA. Josh did that too. And there's a picture of me and Josh and Tyler down there at the bottom at the Color Run. They had fun spraying me as I ran by. And then we also did the Haunted Hayride. So there's quite a few pictures of the Haunted Hayride. We do the Sedalia Christmas Parade. And we also hosted the first ever Roadrunner Scholastic Tournament in January. We had about 150 kids here for the Scholastic Tournament. So that was fantastic. Lots of community service. We have traveled, we have become very active in the region. So this was at our regional fall Leadership and Honors in Action Conference in Omaha. And then we also went to the Heartland Region Convention in Wichita. So there's me and with a few other students. We have Amber and Bailey and Tyler that went with me there. And they also went with me to Catalyst in Columbus. And we just got back from that. So it's been a super busy year. But the kids have learned a lot. They have seen a lot. They have a lot of ideas for what they want to do in the future with the chapter. And of course, service to the community, or we've done service to the community, but also service to the college. So we've done recruitment, club crawl, orientation days, food drives, get involved fair, and we had homecoming king and queen. And this is why I had Josh still standing here, because he was our homecoming king. So, yeah. And then I'm hoping that we can reach a 5-star chapter. So I'd like to come back this time next year and tell you that we're a 5-star chapter. We have become more involved in the region. That's a big part of that. Getting the students to complete the EDGE programs is a big part of that, and we're on a roll with that. And I have also been nominated, and I am serving. I got voted on to serve a 2-year term on our Heartland Region Advisory Council. So I'm an advisory council member for Phi Beta Kappa for our region. All right, well, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kim, for your
Yes.
service to the college and
Yes.
advising. today.
No problem. Thank you.
Next, we have the special award to another team. In the same year, we started shooting sports. We also started esports. And so I'd like to introduce our esports coach, Jake Coleman.
You can just say, we'll just say.
Jake, what's going on with esports?
Big things, exciting things. So real quick, I'd love to introduce these, but I was overhearing some of the great things about Josh, and so I just wanted to piggyback on one little thing. So Josh came to me about the PTK award, and he asked me to write a reference letter for him, letter of a recommendation. And this is the first time in history that I've had to hold back from writing a novel about how many great things I can say about Josh. One of the things that he's done, he's been involved in esports from day one, and he's really been helping me with keeping the students motivated and on track and helping out with their homework. We have a lot of technical education students in esports, so he's been able to, a staple part of that to help tutor them, guide them, and stay on top of them and make sure that they're being successful. So I really appreciate what Josh has done on the esports as well. But yeah, so we kind of overheard. So we'll do a quick introduction of the students and kind of talk about what we've done and where we're going. So quick introduction, go ahead. Hi.
What am I supposed to?
Just tell them your name, where you're from, what you're going to school for.
I'm Gage Behe. I'm from the Lake of the Ozarks, Camdenton, and I'm going to school for criminal justice. And what else? I kind of hoped I'd meet people like me, and then I ended up meeting too many people like me. So it's just like a nice little homey feeling from the first time I stepped in. So that's pretty much
My name's Caden Thomas. I'm from like the Boonville, Powder Grove area. I'm here for automotive, and I got into esports. Just saw a sign in the hallway, and I was like, "Oh, I want to try that out." And there's a lot of kids in here that were like me, so kept me in it. So
I'm Drake Miller. I'm Kim Miller's son. I'm from Sedalia.
what's your major?
Oh yeah, I'm in my major is agriculture, and what got me to esports was I had a passion for video games, and then I'm also like fairly competitive. I also did esports in high school. That's what really got me into it. And then my mom told me about Jake whenever I was in high school, and then I met with him, and then that's what got me into the esports here.
My name is Levi. I'm from Cole Camp. That's where I graduated from. I'm currently finishing up my welding major here, and I've already got my pipe certificate and all of that, so I'm working on my associates. And what got me into esports? Well, I've always grew up playing video games, and so I've always had a thing for games. So I would say just always wanting to play games and then meeting new people and everything like that, like they've all said.
I'm Trenton Toller. I grew up here in Sedalia. I'm here for electrical maintenance. And what really got me into esports, one, like everyone else, I grew up playing video games. And then I met Josh in my first class, and he's the one that introduced me to esports. So that's why I'm here.
My name is Sebastian Rose. I'm a welding major, about to graduate from Lake of the Ozarks. What got me into esports was Gage. He found the program and then roped me into it.
Yeah, I did. Hello, everyone again. Josh Wire, from School for Robotics and Automation, 2 other certifications. What got me into esports is the camaraderie. I really met some really good people on the esports team. Sadly, I'm graduating this year, so hope everyone's the best.
Yeah, it's a very sad moment for the esports program because some of the ones that started the program from day one, which I know that this is the whole point, is to graduate them and get them out into the workforce and have them be successful, but it's also sad at the same time. So we've got graduating, which is all fantastic, but also very bittersweet at the same time. But I won't take up too much more of your time, but I wanted to tell you about our season real quick. So when we started Rainbow Six Siege, the game that we play is like shooting sports. We do shoot guns and shoot targets, just in a different way, right? Digital. But we started Rainbow Six Siege back in the spring of 22, and we just kind of threw together a team. Levi had never even played Rainbow Six Siege. We moved over from a different game, and I said, well, you're good at this game. Let's see if you can be good at this one, you know? So he was brand new to the game, and we worked our way up from there. So we started our first season at 4-5 was our record for the regular season. We didn't even make it into playoffs, and we were just kind of felt defeated, but felt excited, and we knew what we needed to do to get better. So we really put in a lot of work. They put in a lot of hours, a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of reviews, scrims, and we were able to work our way up to the fall semester where we went undefeated during the regular season, tied for first place in the nation going into playoffs, got up to quarterfinals, and we unfortunately lost. The only game that we lost that season was the one that knocked us out of playoffs, and we got 5th place. So yeah, in overtime. So that one was gut wrenching, but we said, you know what, we're going to come back the next season. So then now here we are in the spring, and we went undefeated in the regular season again. So with that seeded us first place in the nation, secured it for first place in the nation going into playoffs. So we got a bye round on the first round, and then won out. So and then the national championship was against Onondaga, I think is how you pronounce it, school in New York. And we won that 2-0 actually. We 2-0'd them. So overall, between this year, the fall semester and the spring semester, we had a total record of 17. And that is all I've got. And then we're really excited for the future and what's to come. We've got some that are going to be sticking around. We've got Skylar as well. He ended up not feeling good, so he had to leave. One of them, we're missing one, Skylar. But got big things to come as well.
We're so very proud of you for representing State Fair Community College and national champions. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was for the NJCAA. Just a little backstory. They've got up over 170 schools competing for the NJCAA. And this is the premier. It's the biggest junior college esports organization that they play for. So over 170 schools that play. So it's tough. It's tough competition, and a lot of these schools are handing out big scholarships, and we're playing against. There is no division breakup, so we're not playing against smaller schools. So we could be playing against schools that have 20,000 students enrolled or more, and they could be having more scholarship opportunities and whatnot. So the fact that they've done what they've done in the short amount of time that we've been open is it's mind blowing. It's really great. So really proud of these guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for allowing us to squeeze these two teams in because they're graduating before the next board meeting. So we felt it's important to get the students here. So we squeeze them into this meeting. Accommodate that. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Andrea Ferguson, who is speaking about her dental hygiene trip to Kenya.
Yes, so I've been here before with all of you. I believe last time was when we were going to Guatemala right before the world war with COVID. So this time we are taking a team of dental hygiene. Kenya. And we're actually joining a medical and dental team as well as a psychological team or behavioral health team. We're going to be serving, we're flying into Nairobi and then we'll be going to Nairobi and Baraka, which of Kenya. And, oh, wrong one. It says, Kenya and, Rotary. Clinton Rotary, yep, that's the one. So, yeah, sure. And I have Kinsey with me. She is one of the students who will be attending. And so I'll give her a chance to talk to you in a moment. They don't have anything to click. Oh, there. Okay. So, the populations that we will be serving will be, the first one is a children's home, which they call them orphans. We don't call them orphans anymore in the US, but that's how they refer to them. And they are children from infancy all the way until 18 years old who have no family or no one to take care of them. And they have a lot of difficulty getting health care services in that region. But they try to give them the education that they can to be able to eventually go to the grade 4 university, and they teach trades within the children's home as well. So we'd be seeing them, and they have approximately 100 children in that region. And then also, let's see, so my little patient, I'll back up a little bit. My little patient is an organization in the US in which we're partnering. And it's all kinds of different outreach type programs that we do for that. Karambu is the owner of the children's home. And here's a lot of her information as far as founder, president. She actually, the way that we became connected with her is she finished her PhD at Colorado in Denver. And so I met her at a psychological conference. She was wondering, a lot of the children that come to her are traumatized. And as you all know, I'm also in the business of working with traumatized children. And so we met at a conference and she said, is there any possible way you could also bring your dental team? Because these kids have maybe never seen a dentist, and if they have, it, hasn't been a good experience. And so we put together quite a big team to be able to partner to reach and get some things in this region. This one here in the teal is Karambu, and these are some of the children that were pictured with her that particular day. Just to give kind of a visual of what we're doing. Then Robert is the organizer of a women's shelter, and those two organizations often get together. And if you know a whole lot about the politics in that particular region of the world, Kenya is kind of huge of all of the nastiness that's in some of the surrounding countries. And so there's a lot of women in particular that take refuge in that particular spot. And so, and it's purposely very, very remote, so they can't be found that, in a lot of those settings. But in that process, they have a lot of trauma that they're coming from, and they also have a lot of healthcare needs. And so what we serve them, as well as a lot of health education. A lot of times they've been raised in circumstances where they haven't been educated whatsoever, even brushing your teeth, those types of things. And so it's going to be a great experience. I went last summer to do a needs assessment with some of the folks from the behavioral health as well as medical teams. And so we met some of the people on the ground to do that. So money, that's a big reason I'm here. Last time when we went to Guatemala, the board told me, come back and ask for money. And so it takes about $3,500 per person. And there are 5 of us going on this particular team. And I can sort through these. It is, part of it is for transportation, ground transportation, food, boarding, as well as flights, visa, vaccinations, and everything else involved. So it's about $3,500 for 2 weeks per person. And so total, it would be in the 17,000 range, and we've already raised 7,000. And so we would love for anyone to sponsor a team member or give a donation to be able to make this trip happen. So otherwise, individual costs. We had tried to attach it to a particular course fee or be able to incorporate it, but not knowing exactly where we would be or exactly what the fees would be until last minute, until it becomes a regular location or regular place to be able to do that, to attach it to any of those things. So that is the plan. And I also was going to ask any questions. I know there's always things I talk about in these things that people just wonder about the particular region or what we plan to be doing there. Good question. Thank you. That you want to come up. So I thought Kinsey would kind of give her perspective. She's been she has gotten to apply for a passport for the first time. And if any of you have experienced that, it's not exactly a fun process. So yeah, so I'll let you talk about some of your experiences with it.
Just in the process of getting ready to go.
And your anticipation.
Well, I'm honored that I was chosen. I was the only junior in my class who was chosen to go on this trip. It's one thing to go to another country, just hang out, on vacation, but it's another thing to go and to serve. So that is an opportunity that I'm very excited and honored that I get to participate in. I'm also I want to get my degree in public health. That's my bachelor's goal. So I think that this will prepare me for that. I've never applied for a passport, like she said, but I got the expedited shipping and it came in on time. So, I mean, just one little thing off the checklist at a time. But I think it's difficult to come up with the funds for a trip that is so big, especially within a year. So the funds they're definitely appreciated.
Have you ever traveled internationally?
I never have.
Or no opportunity?
Are there any special immunizations?
Oh, yeah. Yellow fever, all the things. And also, let me say for Kinsey, she is also from Hughesville and was classmates for several of it in high school and elementary school and things like that. So it's definitely a community type situation. So Kinsey was also selected. She is one of the junior students. We typically try and take senior students. However, Kinsey also is already a trained phlebotomist. She also, her minor is going to be in international studies as well as a public health assistant. So she's the ideal candidate to be able to do something like this.
Well, what an awesome opportunity from State Fair Community College to travel to Kenya and to help folks in need there. So Dr. Ferguson's so very proud and thankful for your leadership.
Absolutely. And hopefully when we return in June, we will be able to tell you what happened, show pictures and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, love to see it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Last but not least, Darcy McPhail is going to introduce a report on retention. I asked Darcy to introduce this because today is her birthday, and I wanted to introduce her.
Yes.
So, Justin Hubbs is going to sing happy birthday.
Second thought, happy birthday.
I'll spare all of you.
I'm just going to introduce, what do you call yourselves, the data reports coffee? What is it?
Data dudes.
We have 4 individuals who work consistently to produce basically the business intelligence for the college. And that's Sean Cripe, Judy Riney, Tammy Montgomery, and Becky Rose, who is in here tonight. And they do a phenomenal job. Not only doing reporting externally, but fulfilling internal data requests setting up dashboards. Like I said, it's the business intelligence, the information that drives the decision making. So I'm just gonna turn it over to them because they can tell you what they've been working on.
Thank you. We've been working on several different ways to report on retention. And of course, once we get a student, it's important to keep them in here, that we promised them that we would educate them. We don't want to drop them out, and that's not fair to them. It's not good for us. So there's several different ways to report on retention. We can do fall to spring, fall to fall, and within semester. And if we look at the fall to spring, we've divided the groups into two different students, those who have come and said, I plan to be here to get a degree, and those who are non-degree seeking, which would be your dual credit high school students, also a visiting student or somebody who said, I just want to take one class. That's my whole purpose in life. So here are our retention rates, fall to spring. They were here in the fall. Did they come back in the spring? This is for our degree seeking students. And we have here, the green is the international students. And of course, we have that big drop there. That was a COVID related thing. We have the blue is the continuing students. Red is the first time freshmen. And we're looking to see, did they come back? And you can see that one has increased. Then we have our orange is transfer students. They came to us from another school. And the teal bluish one is a returning student. So they had dropped out at one point and now they're back. Did they stay again for the next spring? And you can see that they do have the lowest retention of the group, but that's just kind of their nature there. So kind of the pattern, if you ignore the international students, we hold steady with our retention there. That's fall to spring. If you look at the non-degree seeking, that top line there, that's our dual credit students. And a little hard to see, but that's about 60%, whereas the other slide, the average was in the mid 70s. So the non-degree seeking, they didn't come here intending to stay, and they do have a lower retention there. And the special interest, that would be maybe a staff member taking a class, faculty learning how to do online classes, and a visiting student, their main school is somewhere else, and they're just taking one class with us. We also look at fall to fall, and this is the big one that we report to the federal government. They're really big on, do they come back a year later? Now, when we look at fall to fall and also for the fall to spring, if they graduated during that time, we count them as being retained. So again, we broke them up into two different groups. Our degree seeking, you can see the international again, you got the big dip there, but overall it's holding pretty steady there. Overall, Sean just looked up just like an hour ago what the overall national average was, and it was 61%. And our overall average is 64% for fall to fall retention. So that says a lot about our school. Staff members and faculty working to keep the students non-degree.
Is that 61 national average junior college?
That's just junior college, yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Four-year colleges have a little bit higher.
Sure.
Degree seeking again, the retention fall to fall is lower. This time quite a bit lower. It's 40% there for the dual credits, but that's probably because they finished up high school and now they're going to a different school. We don't expect to keep our special interest students and our visiting students, so they're pretty low. Our within semester retention. This is, they started at the beginning of the fall. Did they finish? And by finishing, we mean they might have taken 4 classes. If they finished 3 of them, yay, we're going to count them as being retained. If they dropped every single class, then they were not retained. We don't like that at all. But luckily, we have a pretty good retention rate within semester. It ranges from 94.66%, that's that one dip there in the summer, all the way up to 96.7% of our students finish the semester out. That's for our degree seeking. Our non-degree seeking is even higher. That's because of the dual credit students. They are a special breed. We love them because they're so smart. They tend to finish everything they start. So there are the three main different types of retention that we have. Overall, we're doing pretty good. It's always a goal to even get just a little bit better if we can. That's always a goal of us.
Any questions? Judy said she'd take 40 minutes. I asked her to do it twice.
So again. Very good.
Any questions for Judy? Behind all of these numbers, there's a lot of layers, and our staff is analyzing that. We have some differences in part-time retention and completion, so we're drilling down on that. So Dr. Murders and his team, the deans, are all analyzing those retention figures and developing strategies to make additional improvement. Thank you, data. Posse. Yeah, posse.
I would just say that they are really good about working with us individually on individual program retention efforts too. So they look at the big picture, but they also get down in the weeds with us. So we appreciate it.
Thank you for all you do.
All right, and that concludes the institutional reports.
Thanks for stopping in tonight. Appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to look about the Lincoln University MOU, and I think Dr. Murders is going to share with us. And this will be just information. We won't have any motions or anything.
You all know just about as much as I do, but on 18 April, just last week, we had our formal signing of our MOU with Lincoln to create a seamless transfer program that we're calling Connect Blue. And of course, we showed up in a large group, and unfortunately, probably made them not look as good, not having quite as many folks there to support. But so, first of all, I'd like to thank all of you all who could attend and did attend for coming, because it meant a lot to our folks, and it's been a talk about how well you all support us. But with that, this MOU is going to create that seamless transfer, but it's also going to do some other things for us. We now are going to be able to support our East region. We're going to be looking at dual credit, as we heard, dual credit and that opportunity in the large school districts, and again, recruit from that area. So it gives us opportunities to support so dual credit, and also even non-credit expansion and tying those together. So everything we do well and how we work together, we're looking to do that there. So again, creates a new extended campus. For Lincoln, what we do is we're providing them the opportunity to have students come to us that they would most likely lose. Underprepared students that don't meet their admission standards. We are open admissions, and we're very good at what we do to bring students to a point where they can be successful, as our retention rate showed. And so that's what we're going to do for them. They'll have the opportunity to actually have students that wouldn't be able to go to school come to us, get them ready to continue their education from a 2-year Associate of Applied Science, Associate of Arts degree, and move on to a 4-year degree. Or some of these students will choose us because they can take advantage of such things as A+ or other scholarship opportunities and stacking. And so at this point, where we are at is we've signed the MOU, which is the big, great thing, but the real work starts now. So from an academic standpoint, now Darcy and her team will begin pushing forward for getting our formal approval to the state, and then HLC accreditation as an additional location. So we'll formalize that. She's already greased the wheels and made sure those things are in place. So we see that more as a formality. And then, of course, they have space for us. So we're going to have office space and classroom space dedicated to support the academics and student support that we need. They are actually renovating space. There's an address. I could give it to you if you really want to know it. I can't remember the physical address, and I'm not familiar enough with the campus to tell you where it's at, but they just decided which rooms and things. So they're supposed to send that to me fairly quickly, but they're under renovation. So which hopefully is a good thing for us. And so we will begin sometime this summer. They'll begin their bridge program. So again, the hard part starts now. We'll be working with them to determine how many students they expect. We kind of had a rough number, but then there's reality. And so we'll find out how many students we have and what courses. We have an idea what courses, but that's what we'll begin now, is working with our dean, Jim Cunningham, and Christy Woolery, our dual credit expert. We'll decide which classes to put on and so forth. And then also looking at the adjuncts and using our resources at Boonville, Lake of the Ozarks, as well as this campus, primarily to help fill staffing. As we did not fill a permanent staff there, we're going to do it via supplemental, including myself and everyone else. We will do it that way and get this going and hopefully outgrow it, build a purpose to having full-time staff and faculty at that point. That's our goal. So that's kind of where we're at this point. And so if you have any questions.
Are you gonna have a lead administrator there, or?
We would like to have, just like all our other extended campus, that's what we expect to do. Again, we need to grow this. So depending upon how many students we get from Lincoln, we will also be recruiting. Matter of fact, we just had Jefferson City come here and view, and Autumn, her folks and Cody specifically showed him around, but that was the day after our MOU. So guess what he got to talk about? Explain to him. Yes. So basically they heard the news hot off the press and it expressed to them that we will have a campus there and how we can support them and so forth. So we're also able to bring in others outside through the Lincoln channel. And so, yes, we hope to grow and have administrator, bring their navigator model and all the other support systems that we have. Even potentially some of our other support programs would come into play, like Trio and things in the future. Again, growth. So again, and hopefully Dr. Bates will continue to work hard and we'll actually have another place besides that campus if we continue to grow.
So the Lincoln site will essentially be transfer program.
Yes, for the Lincoln students, but it could be for us. Our students, it will be transfer because primarily we're going to be doing AAs and associate, and potentially we want to work on the AA associate arts teaching too. But yes, so transfer. If we could grow, if we could find the right career tech, or we talked about some health science possibilities being there,
Or even possibilities of some classes at the Jefferson City location, some classes here.
Yes, or using our different modalities like the web conferencing and things, what makes sense. And so even like Allison in the health science, that dental hygiene, what if we could expand some of those dental hygiene things? We're working on a project that could allow us to use Jefferson City as a potential place to expand that. So we're using this to in all academic areas, looking at where else we could expand. Definitely.
The individual that will be kind of recruiting or navigating at Lincoln, is that a state fair employee or is it a Lincoln?
Both. We're both going to be, they're going to have to be critical because their students, at least the Lincoln students that are wanting, they'll be going through their admissions application process. They won't either make their admissions process or they change their mind. They're going to have a bridge program this summer. And that determines that's their idea of getting them ready for college. It's a pretty popular one at universities. But some students may not want to go that bridge program. They may apply late. So it's not just underprepared. Sometimes it's students showing up late, changing their mind, not sure what they want to do. Mom and dad kicking them off the couch, telling them to go to school. Those type of things. That's who we serve every day. So again, we have that opportunity to do that in that area.
You have a question? Well, thank you. And I know many people.
I would like to say, I'm sorry, Patty. I've gotten a lot of credit. It's the two presidents came up with this hair scheme idea. I know. It's a great idea over coffee. But the reality is, it had nothing to do with me. It's really, we have a lot of folks that did all the work, financial aid. I'll miss names, but financial aid, look, because obviously we are going to be the host school. There's tons of financial aid rules we have to make sure are good. Our business office, making sure when we're dealing with the billing and talking about residential and how we're going to split and do things like that. Marketing was huge. I don't know where he went, but he's here. We even, the IT, doing some things, talking about how systems, obviously student support, those people down into the weeds, our folks really were talking back and forth. So I had the easy part. So they worked diligently for the last few minutes. So it would be bad on me if I left them out. So forgive me for interrupting, but they need to be a lot of kudos to our folks. So everybody at this college really had a piece in putting this together.
Please express on behalf of the board how much we appreciate their hard work. Okay, all right, so it looks like don't leave because you are next on the agenda with the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, refrigeration, and controls technology.
Oh, great. Well, again, you all been here much longer than I have, so you have a lot more history than I do. But with the Olin Howard Innovation Center came space, and with a lot of forethought and obviously need for this community, that allowed us to have opportunities for other technical programs. And so as we renovate building, which you walked through a meeting ago and saw, and we showed you the space, we created space for, which I'm going to say HVAC, many times instead of heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, and controls technology, our HVAC program has space for that. We developed and planned for that. And in addition to that, more than 2 years ago, the forethought was to put in for various grants to provide equipment as well as instructors and so forth. So we've had these things going for the last couple of years. And so we have a full-time instructor on board for nearly a year, creating curriculum and working on credentialing, working on accreditation, working on all the right things. We have equipment waiting on us that's here. Now we're waiting on building to be renovated so we can put it all in place. But at the same time, we now need to put together our academic plan, and that's what this is. So I'm coming to you tonight to let you know that we have developed a 2-year Associates of Applied Science in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, and controls technology. So it's much more than just HVAC. We're going beyond that, adding the refrigeration and adding the automation and controls. So it's that commercial side and very technically centered. So with that, I'll just read this. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the addition of the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, and controls technology program, which will offer an Associates in Applied Science and Professional Certificate. The initial funding of equipment is MOEXCEL's 2 grant funds, and the initial funding for the new faculty is Missouri Apprenticeships in Manufacturing Program, or the MOAMPS grant. So we've had those things in place. Now I'm asking to put the associates and the stackable professional certificate in place.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
And so when will this program be? I mean, when do you anticipate this can begin?
Well, everything is built around the building renovation, so it won't be finished until October-ish. We still will then put in all the equipment. So the very earliest would be spring. And so that's a tough time to start a new program. So even though we may start, realistically, it's going to be fall 24 to get a solid start. It's just unfortunate with the timing and everything, but
That all takes time. Anybody have any other questions or discussion?
It says the initial funding is going to come from this MOAM. How do you project after the initial funding? That's going to be?
well, that was for the instructor and for there is some equipment was providing some other services, but we will pick that up through tuition. I mean, that was the intent the whole time. So what MOAMPS gave us is an instructor early, and we're probably even earlier than very much typical because some of the delays in the renovation what we expected. So we have a faculty member earlier, but it'll be tuition and so forth raised from the program once we start charging tuition. Once we initially get started, MOAMPs, because of it, we will actually be doing some of the training for free of cost to students, because that was part of the grant. When we accepted it, we would do so much of tuition free. So we're doing most of that will be on the non-credit side. But to pay for his salary long-term is to a typical tuition and like any.
So you're 100%, you're expecting it to be a wash, basically.
Yes, yeah, I mean.
Plus whatever,
hopefully we will.
more than a wash.
Yeah, because this program can handle quite a few students, so we're talking 20, you would expect 20 or so students for one instructor. That's not a bad ratio. In a high technology, so it has a higher tuition rate.
What other community colleges are offering?
There's several, and I did not, that's the one thing I left sitting on my desk. There's several, most colleges, and again, forgive me because Dr. Bates may know better off the top of his head, but most of our equivalent schools will have an HVAC. It's a pretty common technical program but there's a huge demand, and as it grows, I think one of the things, if we continue to move towards this way, it's going to be the commercial and the ability to tie it in with our customized training and so forth.
I know that with the food processing and manufacturing facilities we have in the area, that those are very critical employers for this field.
Definitely. And then there'll be a huge overlap in the, with the construction trades that we do have, things that we can cross over between the different programs and stuff. So we, again, a lot of potential here.
All right, so we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mr. Parker, I can send that up to get to the board, all the schools, that way we'll answer that.
Okay, thank you. I can send it out in the flyer.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so Dr. Bates, policy 1350, which is public access to college documents.
So the board policy requires your approval for any revisions to policy. So we're proposing today revision to policy 1350. The previous version of 1350 designated a specific position to be custodian of records, and that's the president's administrative assistant. We are proposing that that position be designated by the president. And so that gives us some flexibility. Joanne Turley has been trained in that area and has been de facto serving as a custodian of record, and we'd like her to continue in that role. So that would allow, instead of complicated board maneuvers every time, it would allow just us to appoint the appropriate person to that each year.
Okay,
So
so
that's
it
the
looks like it's
proposed
policy
revision.
1350, right? Because I see two different places it says 0510.
Policy 0510 is the one that says that boards,
Says that,
that you
okay,
must approve policies.
okay,
And 1350 is the policy that's being
it's
changed.
being changed to, okay, thank you for that.
And it's attached in.
Yes, thank you for that
Absolutely.
clarification.
Any questions?
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Let's do it.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion passed. Now we're ready for Yater chilled water pipes. Keith, I think you're gonna share about that.
Sounds exciting.
Sounds, yeah. Very cool.
Ready? Okay. So this one, I wish Jim Cunningham's not here, because this is what I think he's been looking for a few years. I'll explain to you why we can do it now. But so what you may or may not know is Yater has had difficulty in the summer months with the chilled water system, for the chilled glycol system for their cooling. Pipes leak, they're not getting better, but it's a fairly expensive job. well, this year, we got some one-time maintenance repair monies. We've done the parking lot with it, and what's left over, we have the money to do that work. So what we're doing, what I'm here to do is, we put this out for bid. We had an estimated bid of around 250,000 when we were first looking at it, so we put out the bid. So what I'm here to do is recommend the board of trustees accept the base bid for chilled water piping replacement for the Yater Learning Center for $255,887 from Pro Mechanical of Oak Grove, Missouri. There was one other bid received, it was substantially more. We're also recommending that we not proceed with alternate one of the bid. So what we're doing is we're putting new piping in for it, not repair, putting brand new pipe in. Alternate one was to remove the old piping that's in the basement. We looked at the price of that, and it was really no big deal, just leave it on the place it's in the basement. One, since we knew what our budget was. So we're recommending you not proceed with alternate one. So as it's further recommended that the Vice President of Finance Administration be authorized to sign the agreement for mechanical notes access and necessary terms of the agreement. Funding source of one-time state program.
Little music.
Yeah, well, appreciate it. We're working on that. We would like to try to get it done this summer. There will be at some point we have to sort of shut the building down to finish it off. So we're trying to stage it so that we get a couple-week window to, we can do a lot. They can do a lot prior to shutting, but there will be a small period to shut it down. So looking at, do we do most of the work and then between that summer, fall break, finish it up? We can't, it might be done to the later one, but we're working with the timing to be sure.
Because I just have to put all the pipes in and then cut it over.
Yeah.
So they can kind of
Yeah.
do that pipe stuff first.
And the pipes are basically in the basement. There is a basement to the building, which most people don't know. Motion to approve.
All right, do I hear a second? Thank you. Any other questions for Keith?
Proclamation for, I understand.
Doug Mason probably elaborate on that.
Maybe into the 90s. I've heard stories, previous maintenance tied tin cans with baling wire under the pipes to catch the leaks and it evaporated out. So, and that was back in the 90s. So if you look up there, you can still see the tin cans hanging from pipes.
That's curious. Our HVAC and then some, would this be an example of things that they're being trained to do? Just for so that this demonstrates a great example for the funds that you can create having them trained. That's good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, and now we're gonna talk about a CDL semi-tractor truck.
So if you know, we talked about single factor trucks, city open a few times in the 4 meetings, and this is a follow-up to that. At the February 23rd meeting, Board of Trustees approved the purchase of 2 semi-tractor trucks at a price not to exceed $161,000 per truck. This is a deal there. $61,000 per truck. We approved that because of the timing and price of things. So we put bids out on March 28th. 2023 bids were solicited. 2 bids were received. 1 bid from Weishart Investments of $155,000, which was within the approved amount, has been purchased. The other bid from individual Jason McGrath is for $169,500, which exceeded the approval given. Therefore, we were not able to purchase that truck. The CEO Pro is asking and is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of that other semi-tractor truck for $169,500. Jason McGrath of Beldenville. Both of these trucks are 100% purchased with the ARPA workforce training grant.
Are they whole enforced?
They're whole.
I would move.
Okay,
Second.
Second, any other questions? For Keith? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Now CDL semi-tractor trailers.
The other, next items for informational purposes only, since this, prices was less than 25,000, does not need your approval, but also at that same board meeting on February 23rd, we asked the Board of Trustees to in advance, the purchase of 2 trailers to go with the tractor trucks at a price not to exceed 25,000 each. We did put that out to bid as well, and we received a bid of the price of 11,000 each for Transland, Stratford Row, or the 2 Wabash trailers. So approve the president, we'll proceed with this purchase, funding against our workforce grant. So no approval required, just for me, we did find trailers still with the trucks, they came in with the amount, that you had specified. 25,000 each. Just FYI.
And those just plain standard trailers, or we looking, do we do anything with refrigeration trailers? Or we have just standard,
Any other questions for Keith on that?
The next item is a information only as well. So as we're getting ready for the farm, one thing this spring is I'll use the official term, a heavy duty rotary cutter, otherwise a brush hog. We actually did put that out to bid. We weren't sure what they would cost. We did receive a bid for $1606.40. Again, is under the approval amount necessary for you to approve it, the Mag Power. So again, upon approval by the president, we'll proceed with this purchase. And the funding is a couple of months ago, you approved an additional $150,000 out of this year's budget to outfit the farm. Funding for this is that approved additional operating budget for the agriculture program. That's information. So, next, any questions on that? Okay. The next item does go to you. One other items that we're needing for the farm is a tractor. Right now, it's been recommended by the agriculture department that the board of trustees accept the bid for one Case IH 110C farm tractor for $83,400 from Crown Power Equipment of Lamont, Missouri. This bid was selected as the best value bid based both on the initial cost and the local lifespan service cost. There were 2 other bids received, one of which was less as the cost of the tractor. Funding would be again the additional food that we're offering as a program. Questions, discussion.
The other bid, was it apples to apples or what?
It's a different brand.
Different brand, they're
And it was from outside the region, so service calls.
Whereas we have right
The maintenance.
Right. It's a new Holland tractor. So, and that was basically the thing that the costing closer, servicing it, we would have been.
Yeah, you're going to be upside down. That makes sense.
Okay. Here's something. Okay. Any questions or discussion more for Keith?
What year of case is this? I noticed in their bid that they did not provide a year.
My understanding was it was brand new. But. What was the next one?
No, it's curiosity. It doesn't say, yeah. The other 2 bids were for 2022.
We can go back and.
I'm just curious. It's fine. I was just curious.
No. That's a fair question. I don't have that. And we can wait and hold on.
Well, do you want to just, if contingent upon it being in 2022?
No, I'm good. I just was curious, based on we were talking about service and warranty of it, just to find out we have some coverage. I'm good with it.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, Keith, you're up. The EAB Strategic Advisory Services.
I'm going to have a,
If you want me to take that, Keith.
I'm gonna have an assistant in this. Doing, as you know well, I'm Dr. Brett Pate, so talk to you about this one, and I'll ask for your approval after we discuss it.
We have worked with EAB, which is a firm that provides strategic services, and they do other things, including they own the company that provides our starfish retention software. So we've been working with them for several years in some informal capacities. In the last year, I've attended some President Institute training. It was very valuable, recognizing, however, it was a sales job as well to sell their services. But they have met with our executive leadership team, and we believe their suite of services would be valuable to us in helping us accomplish our strategic plan initiatives. And I have done some research on the company. I was speaking with a president from another college who had multiple years of enrollment growth. I asked what he attributed that enrollment growth to. He attributed it to EAB services. And specifically what happened was their strategic services met with their leadership team, and they identified some strategic enrollment management initiatives that they could do to spur enrollment growth at their college, and it paid off in a sustained way. So they had multiple years of services, and it was EAB that turned them on to that idea, provided the background, and the other colleges, references to other colleges were doing it, and really helped them put it in place. So should this contract be approved, we'll meet with EAB Strategic Services as a leadership team and identify kind of our strategic priorities, likely around enrollment management or some other areas of our specific emphasis, and use them to help drive our threat. At larger colleges, they have research staffs and other levels of administration that often does those things. So this helps to extend our smaller staff services and allows us to be more strategic.
Will we get a report from this in the near future, or will you price a report?
I know that they would be glad to report, and they would have been here today if we wanted them to, but yeah.
It's a one-time contract, not like with a CPI thing or whatever over the next couple of years, or like it's this no matter what.
That's right, for 3 years.
3 years at about $25,000 a year, which would be about less than a half employee to do the services. So if Dr. Bates, Dr. Bates and the executive team feels that this has potential benefits for the cost we're talking about, rather low risk on an annual basis.
The key is using it,
To do it.
you have to use it. Our team, I think, agrees. We had a lot of discussion, multiple meetings to talk about this.
A motion, Richard?
Yes, I will move that we approve.
I'll second.
All right.
I don't even need to read it.
I mean, I guess we should put you in places. Okay.
0.16 be.
There's one amendment I need to make to point.
Oh.
I didn't bring that out. Funding for this, as you will, then it will be the annual operating budget. So that's one thing. And I do echo Dr. Pate's thoughts that I think this will be good. So I guess you can now.
Agree.
So.
All right. Anything else? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion passed. All right, now the OWIC compressor room ventilation.
This is a follow knot that is, I think has the same pain as the chiller pipes, just hasn't been doing it quite as long. But in the OIC, and I don't know if we have a compressor room that has some, I call them ventilation insulation issues that have, caused some damage, initially. So it needs to be fixed. So we've got, our folks to look at it. It's really unique and, I don't even know the it's laid out, but it's recommended the board of trustees approve the bid, this attached from Holland Construction Services, and Sedalia Mo. The amount of $33,268 for repair of the ventilation / temperature control systems in the OIC compressor water service room. Further recommend Vice President of Finance Administration be authorized to execute signing agreement with Holland Construction Services for those acts necessary to carry out the terms of the agreement. Funding will be this year's FY 2023 repair funds.
Entertain a motion.
The move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Unfortunately, I don't have a guess for the next one, so we'll all have to do it, but this one will be for an engineering design, like LiDAR scanner. LiDAR scanners, if you don't know, are the environmental scanners that can screen a room, screen a landscape, and give you essentially a 3D rendering of what you're doing. LiDAR, what it stands for, but it's a scanning, it's a 3D scanning system. And it's been recommended from the engineering design technology team, recommended the board of trustees include single source bid from Siler Geospatial of Lenexa, Kansas. The amount of $43,119 for one triple XL LiDAR scanner kit system, including training, will be used by the engineering design technology program, and funding for this is the Purpose 5 CTE grants. So we already do grant for this. Questions, maybe you can help me out, if someone in here, but wise, I think it keeps the program up to date with the latest technology.
I'll entertain, let's entertain, get the motion, and then we'll see what this questions they have. I'll entertain a motion.
So
Is there a second? Any questions or discussion, or anything you want to add, Dr. Rogers?
It's just one of the, obviously, some advanced technology that we've been looking for, the scanner that it allows you to do even higher end 3D printing and all these type of things. So it's very much in our engineering side, but also can be used in such things as construction management and so forth, because it can scan rooms and identify where different things are, fire extinguishers or fire the water systems or electrical boxes, or I mean, anything you would do with architectural or modeling and stuff like this. So this is a very high end, used in manufacturing, piloting projects, construction, all those things. So it really gives us a new tool, advanced tool to use with our those type of advanced manufacturing programs that we have.
In Daniel, so it's in our board
Board
information, spelled out what he would have said had he been here.
Yes.
And in the rationale. So we've had an opportunity to look at that.
Yes. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion passes. Thank you so much, Keith. All right, Dr. Bates.
I have a brief report, both requiring action from you all. First of all, we are quickly moving towards graduation. And Dr. Murders is leading our commencement team, and it's going to be an exciting ceremony, as it always is, but there are some new twists and exciting things occurring there. But we need to know which of you are attending which ceremonies, so we can plan for that. So there's the health science ceremony, the main commencement, the AEL ceremony on the Saturday. So if you can let Lisa know by May 12th, which ceremonies you'll be at, or after the meeting, or
I'm also in for all three.
I need to see the dates.
Yeah,
first.
did you send dates and times out already?
It's,
Did I miss that?
Friday is
The 19th and 20th. So
For all
all science and the main ceremony are on the 19th at 2 o'clock and at 7. And then the AEL is at 10 o'clock on the 20th. And that ceremony will be here on campus.
Yes, it's over.
What time on the 19th?
2 and 7.
That one was one last year, they were at the big debate whether we're wear regalia or not, if I remember correctly.
We're wearing, as I understand, regalia at all three.
And you said the 20th,
The 20th at 10.
10 a.m.
Okay.
On campus.
Manufacturing dinners that night.
Oh,
Yeah, the one the 20th is on campus. And this will be the last time we'll have them split, so we will just have a single commencement ceremony starting in December. And again, in May, so we will have one in December, one in May, 2 a year, and everyone will do everything in one ceremony, second ceremony. So this is our transition to that point.
so in addition, at the graduation ceremony, we honor the distinguished alumni. And this year, I'm proud to announce that the Distinguished Alumni Award is given to our board president, Patty Wood. And so there will be a reception for the distinguished alumni on the 19th at 3:30 in the Dom Museum. Dom Museum, yeah, Dom Museum. So.
Maybe next.
So in between science graduation and the main graduation, heavy hors d'oeuvres.
Heavy hors d'oeuvres.
at that, right? Lisa's plan. All right, so that's, the accumulation of all we do at the end of the year, celebrating those graduations. And so it should be exciting.
We're serving pork at that rate.
Chicken.
There is some work. I had to get that.
Was that a school letter word? Just. That was the point.
Okay, we'll work on that. Also, there's the MCCA Trustees Executive Leadership Conference, and that's June 20th to the 22nd. And we need to put in reservations for that and hotel reservations if you would like to attend. So Lisa needs to know that information by May 5th, so she can make that. I unfortunately am not going to probably be able to attend that. I'm going to be taking vacation at that time. And but there probably is other administrators at the college who'll be in it. So
June 22nd, we have a trustee meeting.
there is a board of trustees meeting on the 22nd.
Okay.
I will be here for that.
Okay.
So the trustees and executive leadership conference ends actually in the morning of the 22nd. So the question is, do we need to, because of that, adjust the 5:30 board of trustees meeting? That's the meeting we likely will approve the budget for the college. So
The meeting at Lakeview Ozarks, the exec. It's ended about 11 o'clock, right? The two years I've attended, and it would be no problem to get back here for even a 4 o'clock work session if necessary.
I know I will be.
okay. All right, let Lisa know by May 5th.
So we'll leave them that date for the board meeting on June 22nd then. Just maybe in time. I'm on one like you, generally. We have time to get back. So. Okay.
That's it.
That's all?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, you are quick. All right, so Keith, you're back up for our financial report.
Yes. First, let's start with the monthly financial report on F1. Only kind of in this, it's, it needs to be pointed out because I think that both revenues and expenses will probably be coming in a little bit over budget. It looks like it's probably the revenues will be more than budget than the expenses. Expenses, the area that we're gonna be selling a little bit on is the operation maintenance plant. Well, a lot of that right now, I would say I've looked at it. So we've got some equipment in there that we will be capitalizing that's been bought for some of the buildings. There's been a lot of work going on, a lot of work internally. We've been doing externally. And so that's driven that cost a little higher than we had anticipated when the year began. But at the same time, like I said, our revenues are, I think, relatively low. The kind of the bottom line excess revenue or expenditures versus this time last year, we're a bit higher than we were at that point on that differential. And then really not that far behind FY21, which was really the COVID year where we just shut the place down. So I think we probably use some of the extra monies coming in, I think wisely to prepare for the next year. So that's why we'll see that expenditures are a little bit higher. We're still overall at 75% through the year. Expenses are at 77.7% of budget. Those typically track sort of along with the monthly stuff, still not that much. But I do want to point out that as you can see, operations maintenance plan is going to be a little bit higher than we would have anticipated for those reasons.
But there's on the state appropriations, there's an automatic withholding that comes through later. Because I see we're 1.4 short.
Well, we get those monthly, and I reached
Okay.
75% of the year. We've actually got about 83%. So we get just automatically what 680 a month. So we got 1.4 in the last two. Plus, there'll be a few other things. So we'll be so probably a little bit ahead of that when it ends with that. So yeah, that's a monthly amount that comes in on they appropriate even it out over 12 months and we get it about the fifth of it. So we've still got from this report, April, May, and June to get, this is the March report. So you've got 1.8, 1.9 million remaining there.
And that's the most significant item left.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And tuition and fees will come a little bit higher. We should probably get another million or so. I'd say million. Well, again, we've still got 3 months. So that will come in probably just a bit ahead of where we're showing here.
Okay.
State grants were already basically there. Local grants and state grants are hard. It kind of depends on where some of the once our money flows through. So those two, I realize you probably lump those together, but figuring out which bucket they come through gets difficult sometimes. So it's really those two combined is what you're looking at. And so you'll get about where we are there. Other operating revenue, we might be slightly short, but it's a small part of what we've got there. And then, of course, investment income is a little higher than we did just simply because of the FMOC things. Next report is the investment report. Really, the point here I want to show you is the total all deposits line. As of the end of March 31, the college had 17,645,500 in funds available, to us, or in between our time investments and our bank accounts. As we are going through the timed accounts are rolling off and into the bank account, which you see there, we've got roughly a 4.83% rate there. That'll probably be going up by another quarter point would be my guess in a week. FMOC needs or whatever they need in March and May, maybe it's 2 weeks out. At that point, we'll probably start looking at releasing money in some 2-year bonds, and there's a lot of speculation that maybe this next rate hike might be the top. They may just kind of wait and look. We'll see what the courts say. But point being is we have a nice balance
that it's good time to have a nice balance there with that. Do we have sufficient collateral to see to the collateral? There's concern about SVB and the bank collapses, which I don't have to, but we are collateralized 100% for all. And there's a, what to happen when you have collateral assigned to us and we have to give the money back. So, you know, for that exposure. Then lastly, one thing that I have done informally, but I feel I need to do more formally is as part of our policy, I'm to report to you any purchases we do between 10 and 25,000 that don't require approval. We tend to talk about that at times, but I'm going to formally do that every month. And I will have, what I'll do is I have my accounts payable clerk pull every purchase that we make in that, and I look at it, and I'm going to start making a report to you. So during the month of March, we had 2 payments that we made that were between additional ones we showed you above about the trader's loan that were between 10,000, 25,000. One was for the Rave Wireless Campus Alert System. That is what we use to send text messages out to all of our students, all of our faculty, all of our staff, anyone else who subscribes to it, if there is an emergency on campus. We tend to use it for that so that people know that if it comes, it's something they need to respond to. We don't use a general announcement. That's an annual fee, and that was $21,061.87. And then healthcare, they have some simulation equipment they use, and that has a warranty to it, and that was a 14,708 warranty payment. So I'm going to be much more diligent in making sure that I report those things. That's my report.
All right, thank you. And looks like you have one more,
Oh, I do.
March board reporting purchases.
That's right. Just
Oh,
did.
you just, that's, okay,
That's right.
nothing else on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, you scared me, Patty.
I'm sorry, I was looking at my date, and to be honest, I wasn't listening as intently as I should. Okay. So now we're ready for board discussion. Anybody have anything? I know we have a few things we need to be sure and tell Lisa about for MCCA, graduation.
I was proud of her showing at Lincoln.
Yeah.
We also had a really good student art display as well.
Anything else? Okay. So, looking forward there, it looks like that we've, Dr. Bates has been looking at the calendar to keep us busy, and so.
We actually we prepared deadlines for our staff for preparation for the board meetings through the whole year so that we could plan bid dates and things like that. And so as we've done that, we noticed that there was need to move the November and December meetings. So it's early to do that, but let's get it done now, and then we're trying to do a better job planning in advance for the board meeting. So it's our recommendation that the November board meeting be held November 16th and the December board meeting be held on December 19th. Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next meeting will be on May 25th at 5:30. They'll let us know if we need to have a work session. So be sure and mark your calendar to know that May 25th.
At this time, we do not anticipate a work session.
Yes. All right, anything else before we have a request for closed session? It's for hiring, firing, disciplining, or promotion of personnel pursuant to RSMO section 610.0213. We'll ask Dr. Murders and Keith Baker to stay.
So moved.
Roll call.
Amy?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Tim Carr?
Yes.
Yes. Isn't it usually me saying? Okay.
Yes.
Not tonight.
Y'all. We need to adjourn this.
We'll do that
Not yet,
after.
till after.
Okay, we'll do that after.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all so very much. Have a good evening.
Happy birthday, Darcy.
Is it just personnel?
That's what it says, and so, yeah.